This is Bloomberg Business of Sports.
The cold, hard truth about the Olympic journey is not really been financially incentivized in the same way that many other professional sports are.
The business of basketball involves CBA, Global, our licensing arm, Think 450. All of those things will make up what that looks like.
Money in sports. It's one of the reasons why I enjoy being on Monday Night Countdown and talk about some of the more interesting aspects of business of sports.
When you're talking sports, discipline is the bridge from being good to ultimately being great at whatever it is that you're trying to be or accomplish at your profession.
Bloomberg Business of Sports from Bloomberg Radio.
Hello, welcome to the Bloomberg Business of Sports podcast, where we talk about some of the biggest issues that are out there in the world of sports. I'm Michael Barr.
I'm Scarlet.
And I'm Mike Lynch.
Okay, they're both happy people today. Congratulations, Rangers fans. Scarlet, go ahead, do your happy dance. Go ahead.
Feeling good, feeling really good. I did my happy dance last night. I couldn't believe that they actually pulled it out. I mean, we were on the brink of elimination 3 different times, and we did it. So that was exciting, and now we're going to face basically another Rangers team, because the Carolina Hurricanes have so many former Rangers playing on the team that it's like playing yourself in many ways. But while I was watching the game and reading Twitter, because that's what everyone does these days, I kept paying attention and seeing all these updates on the Dallas Mavericks Suns game, because that was just such a blowout from beginning to end.
Yeah, it really was. And bringing that into light, congratulations, Lynchy. Your Celtics. Yeah, boy, Giannis Antetokounmpo. He got tired probably towards the end of this series, man. He was looking like he was out of gas.
Well, first of all, up here in Boston, we had not one, but 2 Game 7s this weekend.
Yes.
We lost to Carolina, which would have set up a great Lynchy Scarlet feud for the next 10 days, Rangers and Bruins, but that's not to be.
Instead, we will focus on our respective sports. Right?
Yes. So now I'm going to focus on the Celtics going against the Miami Heat, and Giannis, the 2-time MVP of the league, was just spectacular. And you're absolutely right, Mike. You hit a nail on the head. The guy just ran out of gas in that fourth quarter. But the Celtics just were relentless with guys off the bench. Pritchard with his 3-pointers, Grant Williams, 27 points. And, it's a tough place to win in the Garden in game number 7. You could just feel the ghosts of Bill Russell and Bob Cousy and Havlicek and Bird and everybody. It was almost impossible for the Celtics to lose. So they move on to the Eastern Conference Finals now. And we'll just see how far the Celtics go and how far the Rangers go. How's that sound?
Well, I think you guys can go very deep. And by the way, Rangers, in case anybody didn't realize, Rangers beat the Penguins 4-3, Game 7 to win this series.
Did I miss saying that? I'm sorry.
No, I know I should have said it, but what I wanted to bring up was the point that I think the whole turning point for Rangers fans was when Sidney Crosby for Pittsburgh went out. And when that happened, it's like, you know what? They could pull this off.
Yeah, we have a chance.
Yeah.
He left the game in middle of Game 5, kind of early on, and then was not around for Game 6, and came back, but was not as much of a factor. Definitely a threat, but not quite the same as before.
See, I'll live through you guys vicariously. Detroit fans out there. Okay. Anyway, moving right along. Congratulations to both. Let's talk about golf. Let's talk about Greg Norman and boy, Lynch.
Foot and mouth.
Yeah, I'm going to let you set it up, because I was amazed when I read it, and I'm like, really? Did you just say that, Mr. Shark, yourself? What happened?
Yeah, he's really put his foot in his mouth here. He, of course, is trying to recruit players from the PGA Tour to come over and play in the Saudi, the LIV League, it's called, and he's the CEO of it. There is the first event is coming up June 9th through 11th. He says he's going to have 48 players. When asked about the murder of Jamal Khashoggi, a journalist, allegedly by someone from Saudi Arabia, Norman says, well, we've all made mistakes. And that just rattled a lot of people. And
it's like a sports cliche for something that is not a sporting event.
Yeah.
You've all made mistakes. Well, we've all made mistakes, and you just want to learn by those mistakes and how you can correct them going forward. I mean, we're not talking about, a bad pass or something.
Three-putter, hitting a ball out of bounds on the 18th tee. Yeah, we're talking about murder here.
Yeah, I was shocked. Which brings up the next point, and I know that there have been critics that have said this even before he made the comment, that this is just about greed more than anything else.
It is. And if you play in that tournament, you're working for the Saudi Arabian government. Is what you're doing. You're an employee of the Saudi Arabian government. You play for the PGA Tour. You're an independent contractor playing in an organization, but you're not playing for the United States of America. You're playing for yourself and for your sponsors and for your coach and your family and your partners. And the deal is, when you're a PGA member, you sign a deal to appear in at least 15 PGA events over the course of the calendar year, and you cannot play in any events that conflict with a scheduled PGA event. Let's say that the PGA Championship is this weekend. Well, you cannot petition to play in an event overseas. You can petition, but it's going to be denied. And then if you decide to just go without the release, you could be banned by life per orders of Jay Monahan of the PGA. So Mickelson right now has pulled out of the PGA and is contemplating playing over in this LIV Tour, which officially, there's one event in June, but it officially starts in October. And the prize purse for every one of these events is $25 million, as opposed to the average prize pool for most PGA Tour events is roughly $10.5 to $11 million every week. So it's more than double that. You could finish in last place and make yourself $175,000. So that's what the attraction is, especially to a lot of the golfers who are getting up close to 50 and just can't compete with some of these young guys.
Now, members on the PGA Tour, now if I get this right, they agree that they got to play a minimum of 15 events per year. Is
Yes.
that right?
Yes. Yep. 15 events per year, and you cannot play overseas in an event if it conflicts with a scheduled PGA Tour event. You pick anything like the Greater Milwaukee Open. That's a scheduled PGA Tour event. Well, you can't go and say, gee, I'd like to go play over in Dubai this week. And sometimes they'll give a player a release to go over there, but usually not.
So what does it mean that Phil Mickelson has missed his second straight major, or is choosing to skip his second straight major?
Well, it's huge because the defending champions, especially I think in the PGA, this has never happened in the history of the PGA. There have been people that have not been back to defend their title, but it's because of injury or illness. It's never been because someone just didn't feel that they wanted to go there. I think he thought that he's going to face a lot of questions. There are allegations that he lost $40 million gambling. He made some comments about the Saudi Arabian government. I think he's trying to pit that league over in Saudi Arabia against the PGA. I think he wants to be a renegade and
For leverage.
Yeah. But he's the guy. Just think about this, though. The PGA last year was at Kiowa Island, and remember the image of him and Mickelson coming up 18, and fans were just swarming him.
Yeah.
You couldn't even find him, and then he burst through the crowd. He went from the top of the world to right now a guy that a lot of people have questions about. His sponsors, Amstel Light, KPMG, Workday, they're all out. Callaway has hit a pause button on their sponsorship for Phil Mickelson. He's really a man on an island right now, and he really needs to regain his compass.
Speaking of, you talked about injuries, and this is sad to hear. Tiger Woods, now he admitted that he is never going to regain full mobility after he had that horrific accident, but he says he feels much stronger than at the Masters. That's Scar. It's sad, and I was worried about that. But at least he's going to still be out there. I just don't know to what degree.
Yeah, it'll be like Tiger Light in a way. But I guess it's not totally surprising given how we saw him perform when he was at the Masters. He did really well initially, and then you could tell by the end of the week he was just exhausted.
And he said that flat courses are much better than hilly courses, and Augusta's a very hilly course. Mm-hmm. And you're right, the limp was more and more noticeable Friday, then Saturday, and especially on Sunday.
Let's talk about soccer. And our friends at Sportico brought this up, is the Apollo Global Management. They're eyeing a $1.25 billion investment in Mexican soccer, Scar.
Yeah, this is, again, according to Sportico, and this is a giant PE firm. They're looking for 20% of the profit from Liga MX's non-Mexican media rights over the next 50 years. This could happen as soon as this week. None of it's a done deal right now, but they would also own 20% of a separate entity that's made up of the league's commercial rights as part of the deal. This all comes back to broadcast rights. And we've seen a lot of finance guys, PE industry coming in and buying up rights or access to these rights because right now, this is what people are willing to watch. There's appointment viewing for any kind of live sports, and we've seen franchise valuations surge as a result.
And all they have to do is look north to their neighboring country, the United States, where there are roughly 36 million Mexicans here, big sports fans. This would be anything non-Mexican TV rights would be part of under the umbrella with Apollo Global Management. And next to NFL football, Major League Baseball in North America, Mexican soccer is the most viewed sporting event, which is hard to believe, more so
growing fast.
Yeah, more so than basketball and hockey.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. Is like if in our bubble here in the United States, if you're in it, you don't realize how huge soccer is. And I'm not talking about, Major League Soccer. I'm talking about around the world, man. It's a lot of us don't get it. And you know what? Another sport that's huge like that, especially in India, cricket. Cricket is like monster huge. Oh man, I tried to watch it one day.
And how'd that go?
Yeah, I switched to bowling. That's what happened, man. I'm trying to understand that sport. I'm not going to lie to you. I admire what they do. Don't get me wrong, but I'm trying to understand it. So
this is why you say, well, why are so many American sports owners trying to invest in European soccer? For instance, John Henry owns the Liverpool team. LeBron James is part of that. The Chelsea Football Club was just sold to one of the oldest, the Los Angeles Dodgers. The big attraction is the television contracts. There are separate ones for Europe. There's a separate contract for Asia. There's one for South America. There's one for North America. There's one for France. There's one for England. And it just is oozing and dripping money. It's not so much the competition and what they're going to bring at the gate over in England. It's the television contracts and the revenue generated from them.
And all the major platforms are going for it. I mean, Disney just reported earnings the other week, and the growth of Disney Plus subscribers, ESPN Plus subscribers, depends a lot on whether Disney decides to go in for the Indian Premier League cricket rights auction, because that would be key to making sure that it gets the numbers that it's promised investors in terms of subscribers.
Well, once again, congratulations to Scar and the Rangers advancing.
I'm enjoying it.
Congratulations, Lynchy. The Celtics are advancing.
Maybe one of these days, Scarlet will be reporting from a Rangers victory parade, and I'll be reporting from a Celtics victory parade, maybe on the same day.
Meanwhile, I'll be down at the post
Early
office.
June, guys.
I'm at the post office looking at the Tigers ratings. That's okay. It's all right, man. You've been listening to the Bloomberg Business. I love my Tigers. You've been listening to the Bloomberg Business of Sports podcast, where we talk about some of the biggest issues in the world of sports. I'm Michael Barr. You can follow me at Twitter at Big Bar Sports.
And I'm on Twitter at Scarlet Fu.
And I'm on Twitter at LynchyWCVB.
And you can catch our podcast Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays and download them wherever you get your podcast.